Welcome to Halachot Niddah. This will be part 26 of the class. Today's topic, Rav David Yosef Shlitan in Sefer Taharat Habayit, is going to discuss having relations with a frightened woman. Now we're going to see today two important halachot. If a woman became scared suddenly, which we'll see is going to be called a short-term fear, versus what happens if a woman has a long-term fear. Now, what we're going to try to see today is like this. What happens if a woman has a long-term fear? She's afraid. We'll see of what? If she is scared, now her time, meaning her period came, when she's anticipating the period to come. Her vesed came. That day of the vesed on any other given day, or any other given month, we would never allow you to sleep on her vested day, because that's the time when she's anticipating the period to come. But over here, Rabotai, we're going to have a few differences where we're going to go ahead and we're going to push away the vesed and we're going to allow her and him to have relations. Okay, so the question what we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to discuss is like this. If a woman has long-term fear, and her vesed came where she's anticipating to receive her period and she still didn't get it yet, can the husband and wife have relations on that vesed? Where on any other given month, I would never allow you. But over here, can we allow them? The halacha begins. Isha shahayta nachbet b'machbeh. If you had a woman who was hiding in a hiding place, why was she hiding in a hiding place? What happened? She saw her father-in-law? No. Mipnei pachad, because of fear. But what type of fear? Fear listim v'shodadim. She had a fear from bandits or from plunderers, ha'orvim lanefesh, that they wait in ambush to go ahead and attack a person. So Rabotai, chas v'shalom lo, we should never know of this. But just imagine for yourself for a second, if you know people are waiting outside in a corner somewhere, waiting for you to come out of your house, and now they're going to ambush you, they might kill you, they might take you away, they might rob you, who knows what they can do for you? Who knows what they can do to you? There is danger to your life. They're threatening your life. Now, Rabotai, the honest truth is, I don't know how many of you guys ever lived in a black neighborhood. I had the opportunity to live in a neighborhood where, it wasn't so black. It eventually became more black. And most of my friends were not Jews. Yeah, we had, good amount of friends that were Jewish people. But at the same time, Rabotai, I had a lot of friends that were not Jewish. So when you have friends that are not Jewish, I'm talking about Hispanic, Mexican, black, Rabotai, some of them were even Chinese. When you're dealing with these type of people, you could get into a big mess because of them. I'll give you one small scenario. Okay, so the school that we used to go to was Hillcrest. Was a high school, whatever. After junior high school was the Hillcrest. Fine. Now over there, Rabotai, you walk in there with at that time we used to wear down jackets or Jasper book bag. You're not walking out from there with that jacket on you and with that book bag on you. They're taking it away from you. Why am I telling you this? I want to just try to bring out a point how dangerous this can be. So whatever, one of my black friends at one time, he got jumped by other few guys, but non-Jewish people. And, they robbed him at gunpoint. Okay. Now, I wasn't there at that time. Fine. Nothing happened, Baruch Hashem. They took his stuff and he left. Now he tells me, he says, Igor, because my name in English is Igor, he says, we need to be careful. I said, why do I have to be careful? He says, because they are always watching us. I say, yeah, but what does it have to do with me? He says, since you are always with me and they're always watching us, Chas v'shalom says, you can be next. But what I don't do anything. But it doesn't matter. By them, it doesn't matter. He says, just be careful. Rabotai, I want to tell you like this. Going home, I don't know, it was maybe 2 blocks away from my house, from my building where I lived. Going home, Rabotai, it was like taking a walk forever. Coming to school next day, not knowing what's going to be. Yeah, you don't want to share these things with anybody. It's only the friends that knew about it. But Rabotai, that fear in my mind, that not knowing what's going to happen next, was a real fear. Rabotai, I don't want to say it was trauma because, okay, fine, they're going to come, all right, we're going to, but knowing Chas v'Shalom, Rabotai, somebody can pull up on you with a gun, that's a scary thought. That's a very big problem. You know, like today, for example, even nowadays, Rabotai, with everything that's going on in the world, correct? You hear all of these anti-Semitic attacks. Like this guy that got beat up in Brooklyn in front of his 2 children. Come on. Now can you imagine yourself walking in an area knowing that you can get attacked now? Rabotai, these are real fears. This is trauma. A person can Chas v'Shalom lose his mind. I mean, you got to be ready for this. That's why, by the way, it is very important to make sure you carry a concealed gun. Rabotai, the government won't help you. The government will not help you. The police won't care for you. I have a very close family member who is a police member. He is a real cop. You know what he told me? There was one time a store in Brooklyn, Hasidim, where people, non-Jewish people, they walked in. I'm not going to give the color, whatever, doesn't matter. They walked in and they started causing problems. So they called the police. So this person, that's the police officer who's close to me, you know what he told me? He said, when we arrived at that area, we saw how many people there were against the few Jewish people. You know what they said? We're not risking our lives for them. Not knowing that this cop is a Jew. And they told him, we're not risking our lives for the Jewish people. Rabotai, you understand we're in what day and age we're living? We think they're not going to do anything, Rabotai. They're not going to do anything. The least they're going to do, they're going to come, okay. But if there's a real life threatening, nobody wants to give up their life for another Jew. A Jew for another Jew will give up his life. But why should another person give up his life for a Jew? Especially if it's only his job. In any event, Rabotai, let me get back over here. Why am I saying this? You have to understand, people think that this halakha is not applicable. Not true. Not true. Because you can have a woman that is afraid to maybe now go outside because of, anti-Semitism. Or because maybe she knows that there are people that are waiting for her, or they can hit her, or they can kill her, or they can rape her. Rabotai, this is real fear. I'm just giving you the halakha. We speak about only one example. But you have to go a little bit beyond this example. You know this case, you have to understand. Our whole Torah is written because Hashem knew what the Jews are going to go through. I used to, we learn Halachot Niddah right now, but I used to learn with Rabbi Walken. We used to do Shulchan Aruch inside with all the Nosei Kelim, Achronim, Rishonim, Gimor, and Halachot Niddah. It's not just like this, Rabotai. We spend months on one halakha. So I said, Rabbi, come on, who's going to capture who? Who's going to steal who? What I have to know this? I had these questions. So he told me, he said, Chaim Igal, if the Torah wrote it, that means these situations can arise. Okay, fine. Whatever the rabbi says, I believe, no problem. I don't ask any questions. Rabotai, when October 7th came, do you know every halakha that I learned with him was replaying back in my mind? If this woman's going to be allowed to her husband, if this guy's a Kohen, and everything, what happens right now, if she's captured and this, if she's being raped, or the guy's being raped, you know how many halachot were just running through my mind? You think it's never going to happen. Halavai should never happen. But if the Torah writes it writes it for a reason. Okay, so we have to understand, Rabotai, this is a real scenario. In Israel, this is even worse. Because imagine living in Israel and knowing that you have Arabs that are waiting in ambush to kill you. How are you going to be? Rabotai, how are you going to be? Tell me how. It is not a joke. So that's what Rav David Yosef Shutat tells us over here. If a woman was hiding in a hiding place, she was afraid of bandits and robbers or plunderers, ha'orvim lanefesh, that they wait in ambush to attack a person. That's a real fear. Says Rav David Yosef, you should understand that this type of fear is a fear shehu pachad mimushach. It's a continuous type of fear. It's not a regular fear. It's not a short-term fear. It's a long-term fear. Rabotai, chas v'shalom, guys. I don't know how many of you guys even know what the other world offers. It's not a joke, Rabotai. It's not a joke. V'yigi et Vesta, and now her time of her period came, where she's anticipating the period to come. That time came. Eina chosheshet levesta, she does not need to be concerned with her veset. Shehapachad misalek hadamim, because the fear that she has from these bandits that are waiting in ambush to kill her, that's her fear. This fear that she has is able to remove her from being able to see blood. So even though her veset came, which is anticipating to receive her veset, you should know it's not gonna come, because the fear is not gonna allow it to come. So therefore we're gonna tell the husband, and she's permissible even initially to her husband, bishat vesa, at the time of the veset, av below bidika, even without doing an internal checking. Rabotai, you see how far pachad goes. You see how far fear can go. So this case, Rabotai, is really long-term fear. If a woman has long-term fear and her veset came where she's anticipating for the blood to come, over there we're going to tell you she does not need to be concerned for her veset, and at the same time she's allowed to have relations with her husband even without doing an internal checking. Even initially, there's no problem whatsoever, because pachad, real fear, pushes away from being able to see blood. Now we're going to speak about the second case. Ulam, however, im nivhala behala pitumit. What happens if a woman got scared? She suddenly got scared. Right? She was alarmed. Something happened. That doesn't continue for a period of time. No, it stopped. You got scared, then it stopped eventually. V'igi et veset, and now her time of the veset came. Tzarich ba'ala lifrosh memena be'ota ona. The husband needs to separate from her at that ona, at that period where she's anticipating the period to come. Ve'achinu ha'ashkanazim, and our brothers the Ashkenazim, machmirim, they are stringent av be'isha shigi et vesta, bezman shaya nechbe b'machbe mipnei halistim. They're stringent even in a case where a woman became scared, where she was hiding in a hiding place because of the bandits, and her time of the veset came. Even in that situation, they're going to be stringent, lifrosh memena be'ota ona, to separate from her at that ona. So we see over Rabotai, Ashkenazim, whether it's going to be long-term fear, whether it's going to be short-term fear, once the ona period comes, where she's anticipating to get her period, according to the Ashkenazim, they're never going to have relations with their wife. We, on the other hand, the Sephardim, if it's a long-term fear as explained in the class, and the ona came, we're going to allow the husband to have relations with his wife, even lechatchila and even without a bidika. However, if it's a short-term fear and the ona period came, we're not going to allow the husband to have relations with his wife, because we are afraid that short-term fear does not push away the blood. But in the long-term fear, it does push away the blood. That's why we allow you to sleep with your wife. Summary. If a woman is hiding because she's very scared for a long time, like from robbers, and it becomes that time she usually gets her period, we do not worry about her period, Why? Because strong, long fear can stop the blood. It removes her from seeing blood. Her husband may stay with her normally at that time, meaning he's allowed to have relations with her, even without her checking, right? Even without doing an internal checking. But if she had a sudden short fear, and then the time of her period comes, the husband must separate from her during that time. Like we explained earlier, short-term fear does not push away her period. Ashkenazim, on the other hand, are stricter. Even if she was hiding from robbers with long fear, where her usual period time comes, the husband should separate from her in that time. So we see by the Ashkenazim, long-term fear, short-term fear does not matter. They're going to learn that fear does not push away a woman's blood, so therefore the husband is not allowed to have relations with his wife at the time when she's anticipating to receive her period. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen.